2 days until Christmas and about an hour and a half until we have some actual football games here, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go ahead and let's dive into the injury updates. Then we will get into questions. Isaiah Pacheco not listed on an injury report at all for Monday, so you play Isaiah Pacheco. We're going to keep it very simple. Irv Smith Jr. inactive. That doesn't really do anything. Leonard Fournette to be elevated to the Bills active roster for Saturday. Now, of course, you are not playing Leonard Fournette. Of course, you are playing James Cook. So it's interesting. This will be something that I want to see, and I want to see the breakdown between Leonard Fournette versus Latavius Murray. But maybe Latavius isn't playing in this game. That's why you're going to get Fournette. I don't know. I'm assuming Fournette will be the running back 2 here. Maybe you move Cook down just a slight bit, but you're still playing James Cook. Obviously, he's going to crush. Now, Kadarius Toney, Jarrett McKinnon, both ruled out for Monday. Devonta Smith has not been practicing, but Devonta Smith is saying that he is going to be playing on Monday. So if he's saying he's going to play, I'll put him in my lineup. Trevor Lawrence clears concussion protocol, will travel with the team. So I am going to assume that if Trevor Lawrence clears concussion protocol, Trevor Lawrence is playing. Now, I could be wrong on that. We don't have official word, but if he cleared, I'm assuming he's good. Hunter Henry downgraded to out for week 16. You have no Ramondre, no Juju, no Henry, no chance to score points. We know this team's horrendous. Zach Moss ruled out for week 16. Y'all know I have a Best Ball Mania team live for $3 million with both Tyreek Hill and Jonathan Taylor at low ownership because they did not play last week. So having JT fully good to go and no Zach Moss, this is shaping up where your boy's winning $3 million. I'll flex on him. I believe I have T. Higgins with that team, so we're going to need a big game today. Kenneth Walker will be playing. Of course, you can play Kenneth Walker. And then I think outside of that, we have pretty much all the reports updated. Let me go through and see if we have anything with Tyreek Hill here. Because with that same underdog team, we are going to need Tyreek to come out here and play. So please, Tyreek, be good, my friend, be good. So, okay, looks like Tyreek's most likely playing. Can everybody spam the chat? Do we have any reports on Tyreek? Deepak, I see on Twitter, says Tyreek Hill to be determined. Data slightly favors playing at 55%. Most players would sit, but Hill equals aggressive about playing through injury. Wide receiver 1, but high re-injury risk if active. Please, Tyreek Hill play. We got Kenneth Hernandez in the chat saying Tyreek Hill is going to play, which is better than someone in the chat saying he's not going to play. Okay. Obviously, if he's good to go, we are putting him in our starting lineup, and that will be that. Now, Keenan Allen out. We already know that. Zay Jones to be determined. Brian Robinson out. Alexander Madison to be determined. Most likely sitting. Michael Pittman will most likely be playing. Josh Jacobs will most likely be playing as well. But with these games on Christmas, it does make it a little bit difficult to know exactly who we should be starting, exactly who we should be benching. I'll say if you have 2 guys that are pretty damn close and you want to just play it safe, I'm not going to fault you at all just to go with the guy that either plays today or tomorrow to play this safe, ladies and gentlemen. But I think that should be about it. Let's go ahead and let's dive into these questions. I do have bad news. I saw Brock telling us we need a player prop vid. I am not going to be able to get to an Underdog Pick'em video today. Y'all know we are on the move. This is not our usual setup. So sadly, I'm not able to display the Underdog Pick'ems on the screen. I will say a couple Pick'ems that I like. One, Ezekiel Elliott for fewer than 99.5 total yards on Underdog Fantasy. And also, of course, you can find that link to Underdog in the comment section in the description. Promo code FLOCK will get a 100% deposit match. Our rest of season fantasy football rankings in tiers. And that Russell Wilson special pick'em more than less than half a total yard for tomorrow. But let's go ahead and let's pull this up. Bidmoon says, Mixon, Harris, Zeke, Happy BR, Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas, my friend. we are going to be going with Mixon, Zeke, then Najee Harris last. But Mixon versus Ezekiel Elliott, pretty damn close. If you look at the underdog pick'ems, they will tell you to go with Zeke. I don't know. I think you can feel comfortable about both players, to be honest. Now, Dana White says, pick 3 running backs: Cook, Pacheco, Etienne, and Connor. We're going to be going with Cook, Pacheco, and Etienne, and we're going to be benching James Conner. Eddie says, full BBR for the flex: Eckler, Swift, Hubbard, or Ty Chandler. Probably going to go through and play DeAndre Swift. Swift has a much better matchup this week going up against a Giants team where the Eagles should be able to lead and run the ball in the second half. Joel says, start Palmer, Noah Brown, or Josh Downs for the semis. With no CJ Stroud, I'm going to go ahead. I'm just going to play Joshua Palmer based off no Keenan and no Mike Williams in that offense. Now, BB says, sit 1, JT, Hall, Zeke, PBR, happy holidays to you. Happy holidays, my friend. I'm going to be benching Ezekiel Elliott. JT, in my mind, is a top 3 running back this week. I think JT comes out and crushes. Breece Hall, great matchup against Washington. I know Zeke has a great match, just horrendous offense. Logan says, pick 3 PBR: Lockett, Addison, Njoku, and Deontay. We're going to be going with Lockett, Njoku, and Addison with Mason Rudolph as the starting quarterback in Pittsburgh. Now, Max says, start 3 at PBR: Pacheco, Jacobs, Pollard, and Chandler. We're going to be going with our first 3. We're going to go Pacheco, Jacobs, and Pollard. Austin says Deontay or Zay Flowers. We're going to go Zay Flowers. Even in a tough matchup, you have no Mark Andrews. He should have safe target volume. Danny joining the flock. Happy to have you. Elite Henry says Etienne, Gibbs, or Zeke. We got to pick 2. We're going to go with Etienne and Gibbs. Zeke should be fine. I just think the other 2 running backs are in better offenses and better players. Debro says full BBR: 2 running backs, 2 receivers, and 2 flex spots. We have Walker, Saquon, Jacobs, Amon-Ra, DK, Pittman, and Rice. So essentially, we have to go through, and I believe we need to bench 1 player, right? Walker, Saquon, Jacobs, St. Brown, DK, Pittman, Rice. Yeah, we have 7 options, 6 starters. So if we're going to be benching somebody here, I think we're probably going to go through and bench DK Metcalf, assuming that Jacobs is going to go. If you were to have no Josh Jacobs, then I think we bench Jacobs. But, I mean, you have Pittman and Josh Jacobs as questionable guys with injuries. Now, Chase says PBR can only flex 2 of Etienne, Zeke, Pollard, Swift, Chandler, Ayuk, Smith. Started Puka, Kyron, so I'm liking Zeke's floor based off Vegas projections. I agree. I think Ezekiel Elliott does have a very high floor. So if you already played Puka and Kyron Williams, I'm right there with you. I think you can play Ezekiel Elliott and Travis Etienne, especially if it looks like Lawrence is more likely to play. Now, Jay Dollarstein says sit 1, Zeke, H.N. Pittman. And is H.N. safe to start? Limited on Friday. I think Zeke is a much safer play than Devon Achane. I think Achane has a higher ceiling than Ezekiel Elliott. So it is up to you. I think you can, now that Ramadre is fully out, though, just play Zeke and Pittman. Joseph says rank Chandler, Singletary, Aaron Jones. We're going to be going in that order. Aaron Jones definitely has a great matchup. It's just a spot where I just don't know if we can trust the guy until we see a full workload. I mean, they are relatively close. And then, of course, if Alexander Madison plays, then Chandler does drop to the bottom of the list. Now, Spencer says full BBR. We have CMC, White, Amon-Ra, and Olave locked in. We need a tight end and a flex. Who to pick between JT, Higgins, McBride, Laporta? Thanks. Thank you. Tight ends, both immaculate. You can't flex one, though. You have to flex Jonathan Taylor. And then I think we play Laporta at tight end over McBride just because we have the larger sample. Danny says Jaden Reed, Drake London, or Noah Brown. I think I probably go ahead and play London with no CJ Stroud as well as Jaden Reed being banged up. If Jaden Reed was fully healthy and you had no Christian Watson, then at that point, I think you can go ahead and you can play Jaden Reed. But I don't know. I'm not super excited with Noah Brown. If Nico may come back and you have no CJ Stroud, I don't know. Obviously, if Nico is out, then Noah Brown does become much more appealing. Nathan says, your advice to start Noah last week helped me survive the Goff. Hell yes. Yeah, wait, you survived Goff, Gibbs, and St. Brown? 10-point lead after week 1. Round 1. We need to start 2 receivers. Amari, Deontay, Palmer, Noah, Douglas, Michael Wilson. Austin native, going to try to make it to the flock meetup in January. Hell yes, my man. That will be awesome. Excited to meet you. And just in case you weren't able to see that announcement yesterday in the live stream. About 3 to 4 Saturdays from now, January 13th, we are going to have a Flock Fantasy meetup in Austin, Texas at Zilker Park. Obviously, it'll be free. We'll just be hanging out, talking football, having fun. So yeah, if you wanted to come, I would recommend probably bringing a chair if you wanted to sit down just a bit. But of course, feel free to. It's going to be a massive, 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 massive park. I don't know if anybody here is going to make the travel to go to Zilker Park. More than enough space. Bring whoever the hell you want. But excited to see you. I think we're going to go with Amari Cooper for sure, based off the passing volume that we have had in Cleveland with Joe Flacco. And then I think we probably go Joshua Palmer if Nico Collins plays. If Nico Collins sits, then we can go ahead and play Noah Brown yet again. Now, Ho-Ho says, hey, bro, must win, need some help. Start 2 running backs, a receiver, and 2 flex spots. We already played Cup on Thursday. CMC, ETN, JT, Javante. We're going to go CMC, JT at running back. AJ Brown, DK Flowers, Jaden Reed. We're going to be going AJ Brown at receiver. We're going to go Evan Ingram at tight ends. And then for the flex spot, we will play Travis Etienne and hope that Lawrence is good to go. Now, Will says, standard 10 team, Achane or Amari. I'm going to go with Achane over Amari Cooper, of course, under the assumption that he is going to be healthy and playing. But I'm assuming that will be the case. And Baker or Fields. Oh, Fields is a top 4 quarterback this week. I have Justin Fields ranked as QB4. I mean, Justin Fields is going to be in an absolute smash spot here against Arizona with an implied team total in the mid-20s. I mean, you know, I've been a long time anti-Justin Fields person from a real life perspective. Fantasy has rushing upside. But yeah, it's going to be a great week for him against Arizona. New Era says, who should we start, Achane, Swift, or Singletary? I will go with Achane. If you were worried about the injury, I think you can just take DeAndre Swift. Josh says, full BBR pick 2, Amari, Hawkinson, or Trey McBride. This is one of the very rare instances where I think we play both tight ends. I think we can go Hawkinson and Trey McBride with how much volume McBride's been getting as of late. Rated R Savior, longtime member of the Flux. To start 1, Nico Myers Palmer. We're going to go Nico, assuming he's good to go. If he's not, then we'll make that pivot to Jacoby Myers. But if Nico is good, we will play Nico Collins. Dave says, pick 3, Jacobs, Hall, Amari, Ridley, Sutton, Aaron Jones, Flowers. We're going to go Jacobs, Hall, Amari. If Jacobs were not to play and Trevor Lawrence does play, then we go Calvin Ridley. If Jacobs does not play and Trevor Lawrence does not play, then we go with we'll go Cortland Sutton with the tough matchup for Flowers. Likely Komet or Schultz for this week and next week. I think we're going to go Komet for this week with how good the matchup is. We may pivot to Schultz next week if Stroud makes it back in. Now, Cheech Chong says, pick 1, Boyd, Dobbs, Noah Brown. Also, Jacobs or Echan. If they're both good to go, I'd probably take, I don't know. I mean, it's a tough spot just because both players are banged up. I'd probably go with Echan given the offense that he's in. And then I'm going to go Noah Brown at receiver. Now, Anish says, PBR start 1, Jacobs, Chandler, Swift, Aaron Jones. We'll go with Jacobs, then backup play to Swift if Jacobs not cleared. Now, drafted Joe Montana says, thanks for doing that playoff draft. It was fun to watch. Merry Christmas. Rudy, Rudy, Rudy. Yes, sir. I mean, I failed you yet again. I will get it going. I promise you one of these days on the bike. We just started a new series, but we will cancel that and we will get Rudy going on that bike, my friend. But Merry Christmas and hope you are able to enjoy it with your family. But freaking fantasy football says, any chance I play Zeke over Etienne in the flex? Zeke's matchup is great, but I don't know if we can start Etienne when he's killed it all year. CMC and JT are my others. If you look at Underdog Pick'ems, they have Zeke at 99.5 total yards. They are projecting out Ezekiel Elliott as one of the best running backs this week. I just think this offense is so bad. I would rather play Etienne. I think Etienne's more talented as well. So I would go Etienne, but people that are smarter than me making projections are taking Ezekiel Elliott. Now, Bill says Chandler, Myers, or likely. We're going to go ahead and we're going to take Ty Chandler. I know Javante struggled last week, but it's not like the Lions have had a great defense this year. Now, Jake says, hey, sir, PPR, 1 quarterback, 2 running backs, 2 receivers, a tight end, and a flex. We need some help. Browning or Howell? We're going to go Jake Browning. Really tough matchup for Sam Howell. Kelsey, Evans. Actually, no. Browning, you have no Chase and a tough matchup. So it's close. We probably go Sam Howell. I'm not excited about Sam Howell at all going up against the Jets, however. Then we are going to be going with Evans, Hill at wide receiver. Running back, we're going to be going with Zeke and Singletary. And then for the flex, we will take Chuba Hubbard, my friend. Now, Cheech Chong says, pick 2 at PBR, Hall, Etienne, or Evans. Ooh. Breece Hall is a great matchup going up against Washington. I'm much more excited about Hall this week than I would be otherwise. I think we are going to go Etienne and Evans still, but it's close. Now, Jesse says, Wilson, Achane, or Eckler in the flex. Full BBR format. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas, my friend. I think we are going to be going with Wilson, given the matchup. Unless you are not worried about Achane's injury, where Achane has higher ceiling, you can pivot to Achane. Wilson is a very safe play, however, going up against Washington. Gabriel says, Geno or Love at quarterback. Addison, Reed, or Chandler in the flex. We're going to go Ty Chandler in the flex if you have no Alexander Madison. If Madison plays, don't pivot to Addison. Thanks for your help. Hope you have a great Christmas with your family. Ditto, my friend. I know. I mean, I'm sorry it sounds cheesy. We've been saying it over and over again, but I hope that you have a great Christmas with your fam as well, my friend. I mean, so far, mine's been phenomenal. But looking at this, I have Jordan Love ranked ahead of Geno currently. It's an interesting spot. I mean, Geno is a fine matchup going up against Tennessee, where you have seen them allow some passing volume on that defense. Geno looks like he is fully healthy as well. Geno has the weapons. So we're going to go Geno with all Love's weapons banged up, and Geno's looking like they're actually breaking out with JSN. Now, Derek says full BBR 10-5. We have Lamar, Kamara, Eckler, Samuel Pittman, Laporta, Cook. And then on the bench, Singletary, Keenan, Johnson, Elijah, Ridley, JSN. If we were to swap anything around, it would be to get Singletary in the lineup, but I'm not starting Singletary over Eckler, and I'm not starting Singletary over James Cook. So honestly, I think we leave it as is. I think you are good to go, my friend. Now, Ben says Saquon or Ty Chandler for the flex. I'm going to go Saquon over Ty Chandler. Thomas says, hey, Mason, happy Christmas, my friend. Need one in the flex in a standard scoring league. Pollard, Chandler, Hall, Adams, thanks. Thank you. I will go with Tony Pollard in what should be a very high-scoring contest. If you're not excited about Pollard in a tough matchup against Miami, though, you can go Breece Hall, who has a much better matchup against Washington. Now, Ho says, other league, PPR pick 2, Singletary, Swift, and Walker. I'm going to be going with Swift and Walker. Should be a much better spot for Swift this week than it has been previously. Now, Darren says, PPR starters are Hurts, A.J. Brown, Diggs, Hawkinson, Chandler, Hubbard. The flex is Zeke. And then on the bench, we have Thielen, Gabe, McBride, Montgomery. Any changes we should look to make? I mean, if we were to get anybody in the starting lineup, I kind of want to play Trey McBride. With this being a full PPR format, I think you can move Ezekiel Elliott to your running back 2 slot over Chuba Hubbard. And then with it being a full PPR format, while typically I say we never want to flex a tight end, I think that McBride has commanded enough volume and has been good enough at the same time that we could play Trey McBride over Chuba Hubbard. So that's personally what I probably look to do here. Now, Christopher says, need a flex, full PPR. Walker, Ty Chandler, or T. Higgins. I think I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to play Kenneth Walker. Completely understand if people are excited to play T. Higgins with no Jamar Chase. I just still don't think this is a great offense with no Burrow. Now, Tyler says, sit one at BBR, Smith, Hall, or Montgomery. I'm probably going to sit Smith now that he's been missing practice all week. It should be good to go on Monday, but I'm not going to roll the dice there when the other options are solid. Now, Ryan says, full BBR, Tyler Boyd, or Noah Brown. I'm going to go Noah Brown if there's any shot that Nico Collins misses. 571 Iceman says, pick 2 at BBR. Singletary, Ridley, Addison, Zeke. We're going to be going with Ezekiel Elliott and Devin Singletary. And then between San Fran or Denver's defenses, it's crazy because obviously the Niners have the best or one of the best defenses in the NFL. It's just a much tougher matchup. I probably actually go through and play the Denver defense with how large that spread is and how low of an implied team total you have for the New England Patriots. Now, the big ticket says full BBR flex, Bijan or Taylor. Oh, 100% Jonathan Taylor, my friend. We're going to go Jonathan Taylor. Now, Josh Eats Oreo says, start 2, Wilson, Ridley, Smith, and McBride. I'm going to go Garrett Wilson, a wide receiver, based off matchup. And then I'm actually going to go Trey McBride there as well. I mean, McBride's like the guy we can break our rule for. We can flex Trey McBride. Now, winner says PBR, Higgins or Montgomery in the flex. We're starting Gibbs. Full BBR format, definitely going to be closer where we know that Montgomery doesn't have the usage as a receiver. I still kind of just want to take the guaranteed touches with David Montgomery. However, especially running behind one of the best offensive line, I'm going to monopolize the Lions backfield. I'm going to go Montgomery and Gibbs. Now, Jake says full BBR single flex. We have Browning Lawrence. Lawrence sounds like he's going to play traveling with the team. I would roll the dice on Lawrence. I mean, there are no buys this week, so we could always go to the waiver wire if Lawrence doesn't play. Then Evans, Waddle, Higgins, Eckler, Walker, Achane, Charbonnet, Goddard, Schultz. We're going to go Goddard at tight ends. Running back, we're going to go Achane, Walker. Wide receiver, we're going to go Evans, Waddle. And then for the flex in a full PBR format, you can go T. Higgins or Austin Eckler. Not going to fault you for either or. Higgins obviously have no chase and you have the target volume. With Eckler, I do think that he maybe has a little bit of a better role with the new coaching staff coming in. Now, Sloan Dog says, Achane, Connor, Aaron Jones, safest floor. Merry Xmas, my friend. We are going to go with James Conner as the safest floor given the volume. However, if I was just starting someone in a vacuum, I would start Devon Achane. Michael says, Merry Christmas vlog, Merry Christmas. PBR, given the Devonta Smith injury news, should we go ahead and play Sutton over him tomorrow night or risk that he plays Monday? So he's saying that he's going to play on Monday. If it's Sutton versus Smith, I'm going to be completely fine. If you do not have Smith cleared by the time you need to make this call, that you just go through and play Cortland Sutton and play it safe. The issue is I mean, if you are looking at potentially no Smith in this offense, if Smith misses, it's not like there's another wide receiver we can go just play for Philadelphia. It's not like we're super excited to go out there and then immediately plug in Julio Jones, right? That's not really something we can do. Okay. So now our next question coming out from Iran says, start one PBR, Warren, Parker Washington, Jaden Reed. If Jaden Reed plays, we'll go Jaden Reed. If he doesn't, we're going to go Jalen Warren. Mona says a full BBR. To start two, pick Higgins, Amari, Chris Godwin, James Conner, Achane, Myers. We're going to go Achane for sure. Then we're probably going to go Higgins as well with no Jamar Chase. And then between the Cowboys, Broncos, Chiefs, DST, I think it's going to be between the Chiefs, Broncos. Honestly, I'd be fine with either or. Just don't play the Cowboys with a very tough matchup going up against the Dolphins. Now, Julius says, Browning, Lawrence, Baker, Mullins, or Kyler. I'm going to go with Kyler. I'm going to play it safe and go with the quarterback that has the rushing upside and a much better matchup this week than he saw last week. Alex says, huge matchup in my Sacco Bowl. Need to choose between starting Kincaid or Schultz. And Addison versus Godwin. Loser takes a 14-hour Greyhound. Okay. Yeah, this is a pretty big deal here, my friend. I'm going to go Kincaid with the touchdown upside now that you have no Stroud in Houston. And then with wide receivers, I'm going to go with Godwin, knowing that Godwin had I believe he had 12, 13, 14 targets last week, whereas Addison had 6. I think Godwin's in a better offense as well. So I'm going to go with Chris Godwin there at wide receiver. Now, Kevin says, Merry Christmas, flock. Made it to the semifinals and we sat Puka, but we started Kyron. Should we start Devonta Smith or Joshua Palmer? Very tough spot here that we did not start Puka. I mean, we're definitely going to go Smith. It isn't the best situation in the world knowing that he hasn't been cleared yet for Monday. He's telling us he's going to play, but we don't fully know. He hasn't really been practicing this week. So you're not super confident in it, but I do think that we play Smith at least over Palmer. Now, Hidden Jim says, PBR, I'm starting Diggs and Evans. We need a running back and a flex between Walker, Montgomery, Aaron Jones, and Devontae Adams. Usually start Adams, but the matchup scares me. I'm going to go with Montgomery, and then between Adams, Walker, it's up to you. I know Aaron Jones has a great matchup, but I don't necessarily know if you can go through and if you can start Aaron Jones with what we've had so far this season. So I'm sorry, but I don't know who should go between Walker and Adams in a full PPR format. I agree. I do think that the Adams matchup is a little scary. But go Montgomery, and then between Walker, Adams, it is up to you. Now, Paul says, full PPR, Fields or Purdy? I'm going to go Fields in a 4-point passing touchdown format. Has a much better matchup this week. And then pick 2, Waddle, Deontay, DJ Moore. We're going to go Waddle, DJ Moore relatively easily. And then pick 2 between HN, Montgomery, Eckler, Hubbard. We're going to be going with HN, Montgomery. And then between Logan Thomas, Jake Ferguson, we will go Jake Ferguson. Mark says bench 1, Cook, Swift, Pacheco. I think we'll bench Swift now that Pacheco's good to go. RM says Pacheco or Zeke this week. I think you have to go Zeke. Heem says non-PPR, need to figure out my tight end in a flex. Should we start Laporta or Hawkinson? I'm going Laporta. We had him ranked as tight end 2 last week. We're going to rank him as tight end 2 this week. And then flex Chandler or start both tight ends. I think you can start both tight ends. Less excited about non-PPR format. Maybe make the argument non-PPR league. You need to go ahead and you need to play Chandler. But I mean, if we're sitting here with tight end 2, tight end 3, I think you can flex both and don't feel bad about it. Now, Gerald says Nico Collins or Palmer. If Nico plays, we go Nico. Or should we just leave Nico Collins a wide receiver to place Chandler for Palmer in the flex? No, I would go with Chandler over Palmer, assuming you have no Alexander Madison. Now, Dave says pick 4 running backs. HN, Zeke, Henry, Jones, JT, Ty Chandler. So essentially we have to bench 2 of these options. We're to be benching Aaron Jones and Ty Chandler. If you wanted to play Chandler over Derrick Henry, I would not fault you at all for that. Just please make sure you play HN, Zeke, and Jonathan Taylor. Now, Jordan says, you got me here. Don't let me down. Half point PBR. We need 2 receivers or running back in a flex. Between Eckler, Connor, Wilson, Hopkins, Higgins, and Devonta Smith. I'm sorry. I'm going to have to close out one window. Just give me 1 second here, my friends. Okay. Should be a little bit better for y'all now. But I think here at wide receiver, we're going to be going with Garrett Wilson and T. Higgins, with Devonta Smith being banged up and Wilson having that great matchup, Higgins having no chase. For our running back, I'm going to go with Austin Eckler in a full PPR, half PPR format. And then for the flex, I probably just go ahead and play James Conner, where we don't need to take any type of risk on Devonta Smith for Monday there. Now, Timeout Sports, always happy to see it, says season 4 giving Pittman giving me grief in 2 leagues. Only choices, Gabe Davis or Palmer tonight. Do we start one? In another, do we sub Hopkins or Noah Brown if he doesn't play? Thanks and happy Xmas. Happy Xmas, my friend. Always happy to see you. You know that. I'm going to be going with Pittman in both leagues. Pittman was cleared for full contact early in the week. I am operating under the assumption that Pittman will be good to go. If Pittman does not play, I will pivot to DeAndre Hopkins over Noah Brown. And then if Pittman doesn't play in the other league, I guess we'll go with Gabe Davis if Palmer will no longer be an option. Now, Paul says semifinals opponent has Lawrence, Ridley, Ingram. Point prediction. We have Etienne. What are your thoughts? And then Ford or Wicks in the flex. We're for sure going to go forward. Operating under the assumption that Lawrence plays. Say we get 18 for Lawrence, 12 for Ridley, 12 for Ingram. Call it about 42 points between the trio. Call it about 15 from ETN. If I had to go out and throw out a prediction, my friend. SDS says Chandler or Zeke. We're going to go with Ezekiel Elliott. Austin says full BBR, need to pick one. JT or Mixon. JT by a mile. JT's going to crush. Ho says last league, Likely or Kincaid. I am going Kincaid. I know Likely has gotten volume. Likely does look good. But I don't know. I mean, Kincaid still has the touchdown upside based off the matchup. Based off the offense that he's in. And you'd have a tough matchup for Isaiah Likely. And then starting Saquon as my other running back. A.J. Brown, Amari at receiver. Any changes? No, we flex Singletary and then leave the lineup as is. Garrett says Debo or DJ Moore full BBR going for a safe play. I think DJ Moore is the safer play. I think Debo has a higher ceiling, but DJ Moore just has a better matchup going up against Arizona. I do have Debo ranked at 18 in my flex rankings and DJ Moore ranked at 20 in my flex rankings this week. But if we're just talking safe play. Now, Rigoberto says, who are we starting? Full PPR, 2 receivers, 2 running backs, a tight end, and a flex. We have Adams, Pittman, Wilson, Amari, CMC, Pacheco, Eckler, and Laporta. I'm going to be going with CMC, Pacheco at running back. We're going to be going with Pittman, Wilson at wide receiver. If Pittman doesn't play, you pivot over to Devontae Adams. And then for the flex spot, we'll go Adams. And if Pittman doesn't play and we have to play Adams at wide receiver too, then we're going to go ahead and we'll play most likely Amari Cooper there at the flex. And then obviously Laporta in at tight end. Now, Juma says Tua, Browning, or Mullins. We're going to go Tua despite the tough matchup against Dallas. Jonas says start T or Amari. I'm going to go T with no Chase. And then start Achane or Brees. Initially, I was thinking Achane. The more you look at the projections, so I think we do have to take Brees Hall. You have the guaranteed volume. Not only do you have the guaranteed volume, but it's just a much better matchup where this is the first week that you've actually seen the Jets project out as a respectable offense all season. Since their Rodgers injury, that is. Now, JX says, Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas, my friend. Good luck in best ball. We're going to go with the Bills or Jets defense. I'm going to go with the Bills defense. I think they have one of the best spots this week. ETN or Pollard. I'm going to go ETN. And then any favorite underdog pick'ems. I can't bring up the underdog pick'ems on the screen right now. My favorite underdog pick'em is most likely going to be Ezekiel Elliott for fewer than 99.5 total yards, however. If you can still get Zeke at fewer than 99.5 total, I think that is intriguing just based off how bad this offense should be, even without Ramondre Stevenson. And now Mandor says Jets or the Bills defense. I'm going to go with the Bills. I mean, if you just look at the spread of that Bills game, it's freaking massive. I mean, we all saw how bad this Los Angeles Chargers offense was last Thursday. Nick says sit 1 PBR, McBride, Laporta, Eckler. We're starting Kyler. It is insane to say, but I'm going to be benching Eckler and playing McBride and Laporta. But one of one says start 3 at PBR. Mostert, HN, Zeke, Amari, and Chandler. We're going to go with the 2 Miami backs and Ezekiel Elliott. Play the first 3 running backs you listed off here, my friend. Now, Hunter says PBR pick 2. Higgins, Wilson, Saquon, and Montgomery. I'm going to be going with Garrett Wilson and Saquon Barkley, with it being a full PBR format. If it was a non-PBR league, then we would go Montgomery over Saquon. Now, Max says, start Deontay Spears or Ford. Thanks. Thank you. I think we're going to go ahead. We will take Jerome Ford here, even though maybe the Titans would be better off. It's crazy to say, but yeah, getting a little more Spears and a little less Henry out there. Jesus says, need a flex, full PBR, Deontay Reed or Noah Brown. We're going to go Reed if Reed plays. If he doesn't, then we will go with Noah Brown over Deontay, my friend. But James says, have PBR start 3. Jacobs, Walker, Zeke, Hall, Chandler. Merry Christmas, and thanks for your wisdom this season. Merry Christmas, my friend. I think we're going to be going with Zeke, Brees Hall, and Josh Jacobs. If Jacobs is out, then we will pivot over to Kenneth Walker. But it does look like Jacobs is going to be playing on Monday, at least based off the reports that we have. This will be something we need to continue to monitor, however. Now, James says, half point PPR, start 3. Jacobs, Walker, Zeke, Hall. I'm sorry, we already answered this. I'm an idiot. Daniel says, start 1, full PPR. Noah Brown, Ford or Lockett. Thanks, bro. No, thank you. I'm going to be going with Noah Brown if you have no Nico Collins. If Nico Collins does play, then we'll pivot over to Jerome Ford. Ryan says 1 quarterback PPR, 2 RBs, 2 receivers, a flex. Bijan, Mixon, Chandler, Lamb, DJ Moore, Addison, Metcalf, Flowers, Eckler, London, Merry Xmas, my friend. Our 2 running backs, we're going to go with Bijan, Mixon. Our 2 receivers, we're going to be going Lamb, DJ Moore. And then for our flex, we will take DK Metcalf. If you wanted to play Eckler over Metcalf for the flex, I wouldn't fault you for it. Now, Eddie says, hey, Mason, we still going Eagles over Broncos. You have another weapon out for New England, so I wouldn't fault you at all if you wanted to pivot over to Denver. I do think the Eagles just have such a good spot being double-digit favorites here. So I'd probably go Philly. But C. Diesel says 12-team PBR. We have Jacobs, Hubbard, Barkley, Hill, Ridley, Higgins, Amari. So 2 running backs, 2 receivers, and a flex. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. I'm going to be going with Hill, Higgins at wide receiver, Jacobs, Barkley at running back. And then at our flex, I think we're going to be going with Amari Cooper, with this being a full PPR format. But thank you so much for being a long-time member of the flock. We got J-Rob out here, says Brandon Ayuk, Amari Mixon. We got to sit one. I think I will sit Amari Cooper there, despite Amari being great with Flacco as of late. Now, Diego says Broncos, Bills, Fields, Lamar, Addison, Sutton. I'm going to go Sutton over Addison. I'm going to go Fields over Lamar this week, which, I'm not a big Fields guy, but it's a great spot to play Fields this week going up against Arizona. And then between the Broncos, Bills defense, I'm going to be going with the Bills. I think these are some of the premier defenses this week. I just think that the Bills are in such a good spot as double-digit favorites here, similar to the Eagles. Joshua says, happy holidays. PBR start 3 of Waddle, Wilson, Higgins, Bijan. Torn on who to bench. I think I would personally go through and bench T. Higgins just with how the offense projects out and with Higgins being very streaky this season. And what's interesting is if you look at Jake Browning really has been spreading the ball out in Cincinnati, and it's not nearly as concentrated of a target share as we're used to. Now, Jamal says, pick 2, Hall, Waddle, Ayuk. Thanks, man. Thank you. I'm going to be going with Hall and Ayuk, assuming that Tyreek plays. If Tyreek sits, then we'll go Hall and Waddle. Brandon says, start 2, have PBR, Bijan, Amari, Swift, and Chandler. I'm going to be going with Bijan in the between Amari and Swift. It's close, but I'd probably go Swift in a half PBR format in a great spot against the Giants. Give more. Always happy to see it. My guy says, my guy, please fix the lineup. 10-team full PBR. Hurts, CMC, Barkley, Bijan, Waddle, Kelsey, Jefferson. Bench Puka, Collins, McBride, Godwin, Chandler, Amari. Here's what we need to do, my friend. We need to get a time machine. We need to go back in time, and we need to play Puka over Justin Jefferson. Now, would I have known that on Thursday? No, I probably would have played Justin Jefferson over Puka, but now that we have the clarity of what Puka just did, we need to make that swap. And then outside of that, there's nothing really that we can do. You're sitting here with a great lineup, and when you have CMC in here, I mean, you have the running back one, the tight end one, other high upside guys. I mean, anything can happen. I mean, you can't get that Christmas miracle. Now, Abraham says, Austin native, so seeing you in January. Let's go, my man. Full BBR start 2. Pickens, Downs, Warren, Palmer in the Eagles or Cincy defense. I'm going to go with the Eagles defense, even though Cincy's going up against Mason Rudolph. And then we're going to be going with Palmer and Warren in benching Downs and Pickens. Now, Mac&3 says PPR, HN, ETN, JT, Saquon, T, Lamb, Cup. Single flex league. We're going to go with JT, ETN at running back. We're going to go with Lamb. I don't know if you played Cup or not. I'm assuming you played Cup. We're going to go Lamb, Cup. And then for the flex, we are going to go through and we will play Devon Achane. If you're worried about HN not being fully healthy, I think you can pivot to Saquon though. Now, Monopolization says PBR Superflex start 1. Singletary, Connor, Higgins, and London. I'm going to go through and I'm probably going to play T. Higgins if it's a full PBR format. We have no chase. Now, Drew says Mary Xmas, 2 running backs, 2 receivers, and a flex. Round 2 of the semis. Puka's keeping me in the game just barely. Start 2, HN, Montgomery, starting Gibbs already, and Amari. Okay. I think I probably play both running backs, especially if we're already playing Gibbs and just monopolize all the points that we can in Detroit with how good this offensive line is. So yeah, probably go HN and Montgomery. And strong start, of course, with Puka going off for us on Thursday. Now, El Scorpion says, 2 questions, Happy BR, Browning or Lawrence? I'm going to go Lawrence. Now, I don't believe Lawrence been officially cleared. He is traveling with the team. But since you don't have any teams on bye this week, if Lawrence doesn't play, you should have more than enough opportunities to go out there and pick up another quarterback off waivers. And then Zeke or JT, I'm going to go JT. I think JT is the top 5 running back this week. Dirt Bike Addict, happy to see us. His team is Stafford, Puka, congrats. Bijan, Eckler, Lamb, Waddle, Kamara, DK, Higgins. We need to sit 1. I think your bench is either going to be Eckler or T. Higgins or DK Metcalf. I mean, Eckler, you can make an argument that the new coaching staff may come in and may actually use him a little more as that bell cow back Then what we had was Staley, Metcalf, Higgins are both wide receivers with high ceilings, but relatively low floors. So you can bench any of those three options. Just please don't bench CeeDee Lamb. Don't bench Jalen Waddle. And then obviously we already had the other guys go on Thursday. Now Wendigo says start one, Higgins, Rice, or Ayuk in a non-PPR formats. It's either Rice or Ayuk for me. I am probably going to go Rice this week just because Ayuk does have a very tough matchup going up against Baltimore, however. Now, Benson the Bear coming out says PPR pick 2 with upside. Hopkins, McLaurin, JSN, Singletary. I'm going to go with Singletary. Showed us the ceiling last week. And we're going to go DeAndre Hopkins as well. Terry McLaurin, just a horrible matchup against the Jets. Jose says Sutton or Palmer. I'm going to go Sutton. And then Dak or Fields. I'm going to go Fields. Fields has one of the best matchups you could ever ask for here. I mean, you have an implied team total of I believe 24 points for Chicago, which is the highest you've had all year. Now, J-Max says Isaiah Likely, Kincaid, Ferguson. We got to pick one. I'm going to go Kincaid, even though it's close to Ferguson. We also have Flowers our flex. If you want to swap him out for one of the other tight ends, no, definitely play safe Flowers there. These tight ends aren't super exciting. Dan says, happy BR pick 3, Connor, Jones, Hubbard, or T. Higgins. I'm going to be going with Higgins, Connor, and Chuba Hubbard. I'm going to be benching Aaron Jones until we actually see Aaron Jones go out there and perform. I mean, last week I was like, okay, I guess we can start this guy if you have no A.J. Dillon. Yeah, I don't know. Aaron Jones has been bad all season. Samuel says PBR, Hawkinson, Joker, Kittle. We're going to go Hawkinson, HN, or Barkley. I'm going to go HN. If you were worried about the injury, I understand if you wanted to pivot over to Barkley instead, but the usage for Barkley does look a little concerning. Evan says PBR league, Higgins or Barkley. I'll go Barkley. Higgins or Ridley. We'll go Higgins. And then start a running back, tight end, and a flex. Zeke, Montgomery, Higgins, McBride, Hawkinson. We're going to go with Zeke, Hawkinson. And then if you wanted to flex McBride here, I'm not going to fault you in the slightest. McBride, Higgins, Montgomery are all going to be relatively close. I probably go with Montgomery with how good that Lions offense has been, but it is extremely close there, and I'm not going to fault you going in any direction. Jonathan says, last call, Warren or Chandler, full PBR format. We're going to go with Chandler under the assumption you have no Alexander Madison. Obviously, if Madison were to play, then that's going to be a really tough spot. Now, Joshua says Browning or Murray and HN, Chandler, or Addison. I'm going to go with Murray. And then HN, Chandler, Addison. I'm going to roll the dice with HN. I feel a lot better about playing Devon HN this week than we did previously. Last week, it was tough to play HN with his first week back in. This week, I feel more comfortable. Michael says his team, Geno, White, Henry, Chandler, Tyreek, Wicks, Johnston. How is this guy in the playoffs? My team, Goff, Swift, Pacheco, Puka. Yeah, you're crushing here, my man. I mean, you got McBride. Puka already went out there and crushed on Thursday. I don't even know how your opponent's in the playoffs, to be completely honest with you. Congrats. I do think that you have this one in the bag. Now, Jack says, Lawrence or Fields? Go Fields. Everybody, please. If you have Fields, you need to start him this week. I'm not even a Justin Fields guy. I thought the Bears should have draft someone else last year. I think the Bears should definitely draft someone at quarterback in this year's draft. Justin Fields averaged like 160 passing yards per game over the past 3 years. The guy's failed over and over and over again. But from a fantasy perspective, he has a ton of rushing upside. He has a great matchup this week against Arizona. Please play Justin Fields. He is going to crush here in fantasy. And then second flex, Ingram, London, or Boyd. I will go Drake London. Now, Matthew says, we have a Monra. Should we start Laporta, McBride, or Hawkinson? I'm going to go with Laporta and then just try to monopolize those points in Detroit. Now, Frazier says, full BBR. We have Hurts, Eckler, Zeke, Amonra, Debo, Hawkinson, McBride. And then on the bench, Goff, Deontay Ward, Connor Reed, Palmer, Spears, Eagles, Broncos on waivers. Any moves? I would, at this point, if we're in the playoffs, you want to roster two defenses, especially if the Eagles are out there on the waiver wire. Don't drop the Cowboys defense, but drop someone like Joshua Palmer, drop someone like Deontay Johnson, pick up the Eagles defense and play the Eagles defense this week over the Cowboys defense with a much better matchup. Now, Let Me In Those Jeans says, hey, we have Mixon, Montgomery, Aaron Jones, and Tyreek, Puka, Rice, Addison, Odell. I messed up by not starting Puka. Which 5 should we pick? Mixon, Montgomery, Tyreek, Rice, and then between Aaron Jones, Addison, Odell, there I think we can go Aaron Jones with him having a nice matchup against Carolina. I'm not super comfortable with any of those guys, though, even though Addison did crush last week. Pierce says, what's up, Mason? Thank you for the great year. Number 1 seed in all 3 of my leagues. That is incredible, my friend. I promise you. And I mean, I promise you. I am not the number 1 seed in all my leagues. I wish I had that type of success. But need some help. One of my teams is in shambles. We started Cup. We have Bijan, Eckler, Achane, Chandler, Higgins, and Devonta. Okay. So we need 2 running backs. We're going to be going with Bijan, Achane. We need another receiver. I'm going to go Higgins with Devonta Smith kind of being up in the air. And then for our flex, I honestly may end up just going with Eckler if it's a full PPR format, assuming the new coaching staff may give him a little bit of a better role in this offense, maybe a little bit better than it previously was. But obviously, we're not excited about playing Austin Eckler with what's happened as of late. Now, Hunter says, double PPR, start 2 in the flex. We have Warren, Ford, Palmer, Javonte. We're going to be going with Javonte and Palmer. Actually, no, we're going to go Javonte. And if it's a double PPR, we're going to go with Javonte and Palmer. We want the reception volume. And then start 1, Browns, Broncos, Lions. We had Puka Thursday. Opponent has Hiron, so we're in a good spot. I think we will go with the Broncos DST there against New England. But Broke Smoke says Browning or Kyler playing from behind. You want Kyler for sure. Kyler is the rushing upside and a little bit of a better spot. I mean, obviously, you have no chase for Browning. Strainer says Amari or Pollard full PBR. I'm going to go with Pollard. SS says full PBR. Allen at quarterback. Palmer or Gabe Davis. I'm going to go Palmer. I think the target volume will be more consistent. Now let's go ahead and find our next one. I'm sorry about this, ladies and gentlemen. As I do this, please, if you have not done so already, go down there, hit that like button. Helps us out a ton. Now, Mona says Eagles, Packers. We got to pick a defense. Both are great options. I'm going to go with the Eagles, however, just because I think their offense is going to get to a lead early, and we want the opposing offense dropping back to pass so we can generate sacks and turnovers. Jeff says set our lineup, PBR, Eckler, Javonte, Chuba, Connor, Garrett, Pittman, T, Noah Brown, Reed, 2, 2, and 1. And we're going to go with the Denver defense there. And then wide receiver, we're going to be playing Garrett Wilson, Michael Pittman. Running backs, we're going to be going with Eckler and Connor. For the flex, we'll go T. So actually put T at wide receiver and then move Pittman to the flex just in case Pittman's not good to go. And we have to pivot over to Chuba Hubbard. Now, Matt says half PPR, start 3. Metcalf, Higgins, Montgomery, Breece Hall. I'm going to go Montgomery, Hall for sure. And then between DK, Higgins, I think DK is in the better offense. Higgins is a higher target share in his offense. So I don't care which wide receiver you go to be completely honest. Just please make sure you play both running backs. I mean, the wide receivers are so damn close. Now, Bob says Hill and JT need to play 1 receiver, 1 flex. Diggs, Rice, Pittman. Our receiver, I'm going to go with Diggs. Our flex, we're going to go Pittman. Especially if it has 100-yard bonuses, I think you can make an argument maybe to go through and maybe to take ETN over Pittman in certain leagues. But if you're going to get the 100-yard bonus, there you are a little bit more apt to go with the wide receiver. Dalton says, hey, Mason, thanks for help this season. Championship match. Need a flex for upside. Aaron Jones, Jalen Warren, Gus Edwards. It's a half point per carry. I will go with Aaron Jones for the upside. Aaron Jones could get the volume. He could do well with that volume in a good matchup against Carolina. Obviously, it is far from certain, but yeah, especially at point per carry, give me the guy who can get the volume. Now, Steven says, pick 1, Dylan, Chase Brown, playoff linear, Roshan. Merry Christmas, King. Merry Christmas, my friend. I will go with Roshan Johnson, despite Chase Brown being better as of late. PJ says, Tony out, Rice over Evans. I'm going to go Evans over Rice, but they are in the same tier in my rankings. Jonathan says PBR Superflex, pick one. Flacco, Lawrence, Sam Howell. I'm going to go Lawrence plan A, Flacco plan B, Sam Howell plan C. Dave says double PBR, Jacoby Boyd Palmer. I'm going to go with Palmer for the guaranteed target volume. And then Ferguson or Kincaid. I will go with Kincaid. Now in the pit says have PBR start a running back and one flex between Zeke, Rasheed, Higgins, Montgomery, Chandler, Singletary. We already have Lamb, Tyreek, Mostert, Mahomes. Happy holidays. Happy holidays, my friend. I'm going to go with Ezekiel Elliott and David Montgomery. Actually, we're going to go Rasheed Rice over Montgomery. I apologize. We're going to go with Ezekiel Elliott and Rasheed Rice, given the volume that he has had as of late. Now, Terry says Eckler, Devonta Smith, and Palmer, Brown, Goddard. Standard league, Merry Xmas, my friend. Nico Collins plays, give me Palmer. Nico Collins misses, give me Noah Brown. And then we will go with Smith if he's cleared by the time we have to make that decision. It's just so damn tough with Smith playing on Monday and us not necessarily knowing if he's going to go. He's saying he's going to play. So I think it kind of does come down to who your backup option is. But Cameron says, hey, Mason, need help, full BBR. Need to play a tight end and a flex. We have Njoku, Laporta, Higgins, Bijan. Our tight end, we're going to go Laporta. Our flex will go Bijan. And then we'll go Geno Smith over Browning. Not excited about Browning in a tough matchup with no chase. Now, Xena says, League 1 at BBR. Javonte, Deontay, or Deonta Foreman. We're going to go Javonte. Have BBR Mixon or Swift in the flex. Merry Xmas, my friend. We will go with Joe Mixon over DeAndre Swift. Now, Michael says, full BBR, Lamar, Goff, Kupp, Deontay, Puka, DK, Smith, Montgomery, Mostert, Jacobs, Zeke, Kelsey, Schultz, and then the Green Bay, Cleveland, or Colts DST. We're going to go with the Green Bay DST against Carolina. Should we start Lamar against San Fran? Yeah, we're going to go Lamar over Goff. I was starting Kupp over Puka. All the projections had Kupp over Puka as well. I don't think you can feel bad about that. And then, so if you're telling me we need another wide receiver, we would be going with DK Metcalf. If we need two running backs, we're going to go Montgomery, Mostert. I'm sorry, we're going to go with Zeke, Mostert, Montgomery in the flex. And if you did have Jacobs cleared and you wanted to pivot, you could pivot to Jacobs. And then obviously we're going to go Kelsey at tight end. Brandon says Swift or Chandler. We're going to go with Swift, my friend. Jonathan says full PBR, start 3. Mostert, HN, Swift, Walker. I'm going to go with both Miami guys, and I will go Swift in a good matchup. Mark says pick a tight end, Schultz, Otten, Pitts, or Everett. I'm going to go with Pitts now that you have unless Nico Collins doesn't play. If you have no Nico Collins, you can go Schultz. If Nico Collins plays, I'm going to go Pitts with no Stroud. Jeremy says full BBR start 3. Mostert, Hall, Bijan, Robinson, or Achane. I'm going to be going with Hall, Bijan, and Mostert with Achane still being a little bit banged up. Now, Margaret says full BBR, Mahomes, Etienne, Kamara, the Jets, AJ McBride, Rice, Gibbs, Hopkins, Warren, Ridley, Hubbard. We sat Stafford. Who are we going to start? Can't blame me for starting Stafford starting Mahomes over Stafford here, my friend. I'm assuming you already started Kamara. We'll go Etienne over Gibbs. We'll go AJ Rice at receiver. We'll go Gibbs in the flex. We'll go McBride at tight ends. Now, Steven says pick 3. Etienne, Saquon, JT Hubbard. Thanks again, King. Thank you. I'm going to be benching Chuba Hubbard there. Play JT, Saquon, Etienne, even if Saquon's a little concerning. Now, Calcium Oxide says need 3. Jacobs, Eckler, Zeke, Javonte, Chandler, and Reed. I'm going to be going with Zeke, Jacobs if he plays, and Eckler. If Jacobs does not play, then I think we pivot to either Chandler or Javonte. Probably Chandler. Now, John says half point PBR. Pick a quarterback, 3 running backs, a tight ends. We have Kyler, Love, Goff, Tua, Bijan, Eckler, Zeke, Brees, Chandler, Devin, Singletary. Okay. Quarterback, we're going to go Kyler. Our 3 running backs, we are to be going with Bijan, Zeke, Brees. And then our tight ends, I don't know what our options are. So I'm sorry. I don't know if I'm going to be able to help with the tight end. Now, Tyler says full PBR start 2. Montgomery, Jacobs, Zeke. I'm going to be going with Zeke, and it's just tough. We don't know if Jacobs going to go. If Jacobs plays, we'll go Jacobs over Montgomery. If he doesn't, we'll go Montgomery. Currently have Kelsey, tight end, McBride in the flex. Possibly take McBride at the flex. No, leave McBride in there. Nicholas says pick 1, Nico, Palmer, or Sutton. If Nico plays, we go Nico. If not, we go Sutton. Uncle Dad says a full BBR. Pick my wide receiver 2 and out of flex. Out of Hubbard, Myers, Flowers, Thielen, Deontay. I mean, we're going to be going with Hubbard for the flex spot. And then wide receiver 2, we will go Zay Flowers. It is a tough matchup, though. It is a tough matchup here. Robert says Mullins, Browning, Geno, Russ. I'm going to be going with Geno over these other options. And then for the flex, we have Connor, Singletary, Myers, Godwin, Terry. I'm going to be going Connor over Singletary now that you have no Stroud. D. Larso, always happy to see us, says, finished 11-3 in the semis, 12-team BBR, tried replacing Kamara with Brees before Thursday night, but didn't have internet connection. Start 2, we need a running back and a flex between Bijan, Brees, DJ Moore, Godwin. And then also the Jets or Philly defense. I'm going to be going with the Philly defense. I mean, the Jets, fine spot this week. They should be able to generate sacks, but still, I think the Philly defense just crushes. And then we're going to be going with Brees as well as DJ Moore here for running back in the flex. If you wanted to play Bijan there, you can. I don't think you have to risk it, though. Now, Gabriel says 2-2-1. Pollard, Pacheco, Hall, JT. Play Holland, JT. Amari, Myers, Odell, Watson, JSN. We're going to go with Amari and JSN. Going up against the KC stack. Ooh, tough spot. Definitely play Pollard at the flex. If you really wanted to go Pacheco to maybe try to neutralize that, I mean, you can do it. I'd probably just play the best plays, though. Brandon says, I'm up 20-16. Cincinnati, Baltimore, or Chicago's defense. Definitely not Baltimore's defense, my friend. No way now we're playing Baltimore's. Maybe, yeah, we're going to go Cincinnati's here against Pittsburgh, against Mason Rudolph. And then if you were to switch anything out, if you have no Alexander Madison, I think you go through and put Ty Chandler in over Cortland Sutton if you want to. And then I'm going to go Kincaid over Waller. It's close. But Kyle says, non-BBR, 2-2-1. We have Montgomery, Swift, Wilson, Pittman, Ridley. And then Amari Jacobs on the bench. Any changes? Non-PBR format, we're going to opt to go with a running back. So we're going to go Montgomery. I'm sorry. If we were to swap anything, it's going to be going with Jacobs over Calvin Ridley. Honestly, I think go Jacobs or Amari over Ridley. But if Jacobs plays, I definitely want Jacobs in there over Amari. Now, Dalton says, hey, Mason, championship match. Need help for this season. PBR at point per carry. Need to go with an upside one. I think we already answered this for you, my friend. Be super happy to answer it again. But I think we are going to go ahead. We will take Aaron Jones over Gus and Jalen Wharton, especially in a half point per carry format where we want someone that can have a considerable amount of volume here. So yeah, we will go with Aaron Jones against Carolina. Mike says full BBR pick 3, Bijan, Zeke, Chandler, and Barkley. We will be benching Chandler. Play Bijan, Zeke, and Barkley. Now, 7A says, have BBR Chandler or Eckler. I'm going to go Eckler and hope that the coaching staff decides to change the way that he is being used. Jesus says, full BBR starter, running back 2 flex out of Higgins, Montgomery, Ayuk, and Mostert. I'm going to be going with Mostert and then Montgomery and Ayuk. If you wanted to play Higgins over Montgomery in a full BBR format, I'm not going to fault you for it. Adolfo says, Odell or Addison in the flex. I will go with Addison. Much better matchup. WTF Huck, always happy to see it, says a full point, Allen White, Pacheco, Olave, Jefferson, Kelsey. Start one in the flex between Chandler, Davis, Zeke, Warren, JSN. Nice seeing you, Mason. Nice seeing you as always. We are going to go with Ezekiel Elliott. I feel very comfortable about this as well. Great team. Pacheco has been fully cleared to play. I think Jefferson should see a bounce back when he's having the volume. So yeah, the only thing that I do is play Ezekiel Elliott in the flex, and I think you're going to roll here. Now, Steven says, pick 1, Smith or JSN. We're going to go Smith, even though it's a little bit of a question mark. Pick 2, Jacobs, H.N. Connor. We're going to be going with H.N. Jacobs, even though it's a little bit of a question mark. Pick 1, Hawkinson or McBride. We're going to go Hawkinson. And then, yes, I think you can flex McBride if you want to do over someone like Connor. Now, C. James says full BBR, Kincaid, Goddard, likely. We're going to go Kincaid. And then Smith or Pacheco for the flex. We'll be going with Pacheco being cleared. And then defense, Chiefs or Browns. Ooh. Tough spot. I honestly wouldn't fault you to go either way. Probably going to go the Chiefs, though. Now, Ollie coming out with a massive dono. Always happy to see us. Says, hey, Mason, hope you're doing well and your underdog team goes through for the full 3 milli. My man, if that does happen, you better make it to Austin, Texas for the meetup, and we were throwing a massive party. But nonetheless, thank you so much. Team 1, pick 1. Jacobs Ford. We're going to be going Jacobs. We are rolling a little bit of dice here, but we can pick up Samir if he doesn't play. And then Higgins, Reed. We're going to be going Higgins. Reed is banged up. I think Higgins is the best play regardless. And then team 2, we need 2, 2, and 1. Happy BR. DJ, Jefferson, Ridley, Lockett, Palmer, Hall, Mixon. We're going to be going with Hall, Mixon at running back, DJ, Jefferson at wide receiver. And then for the flex, I think we're going to go Calvin Ridley, assuming that Lawrence plays. If Lawrence sits and you wanted to pivot over to Tyler Lockett, I would not fault you for it. But honestly, I may end up playing Ridley there regardless with no Christian Kirk. But of course, thank you so much. Always happy to see you, my friend. Dame, 13-0 in a championship run. Dacker Fields, great spot. Running back 2 in a flex. We have Connor, Flowers, Rice, Jones, and Swift. We're going to be going with we're going to be going with Swift and Rice. And then the Philly or Broncos defense. We're going to go with the Philly defense. I think the Philly and the Bills defense are probably the top 2 defenses this week. D. Larso says, me, Dak, Bijan, Kamara, Lamb, Puka, Kincaid, DJ Moore. I'm going to go with the Philly defense over the Jets defense, my friend. We could replace Brees anywhere. I mean, if we can get a time machine and take Kamara out for him, we would. Really, the only thing would be Bijan versus Brees. I think go back and forth there. There's a little bit of uncertainty. I kind of been changing my mind on that call as of late. Opponent, Goff, Warren, Kyron, Palmer, Devontae, Kelsey, Aaron Jones. I don't even know how your league mate got in the playoffs in the first place. He's starting Jalen Warren and Joshua Palmer. You're going to crush this guy, my man. The only thing I'd potentially say is evaluate Brees versus Bijan, with Brees having a great matchup against Washington. Can everybody please spam the chat for D. Larso? I'll scroll to the bottom of the chat to see what y'all are saying. But would you rather start Bijan Robinson or Brees Hall this week? Brees Hall has the better matchup going up against Washington, but he's also in the Jets offense. So Brees Hall or Bijan Robinson, spam the chat and let us know where you are going, because this is something that I've kind of been going back and forth on myself. We got Brees, Bijan, Brees, Bijan, Brees, Bijan, Bijan, Brees, Bijan. So it does look like we have slightly more Brees Halls here than Bijan Robinson, but it's close. Slightly more Brees Halls. Oh my God, but we got 10 minutes till the game. We got to go through here rapid fire, ladies and gentlemen. Dear God, I'm sorry. That was probably not a good idea to ask the live chat. That is on me. But EC says, bro, this is it for me. 2 teams in the semis, Higgins or Walker. Full BBR, I think you can go Higgins if you really wanted to. KC, Green Bay, Cleveland. We're going to be going with the Green Bay defense. And then Philly or Buffalo. D, I think both are great. Probably go Buffalo. Merry Christmas, my friend. Jalen says, PBR, pick a receiver and a flex. Smith, Noah Brown, Reed, Boyd, Chandler. We're going to be going with Chandler and Smith. Now, Raul says, Washington with Law and no Kirk Jones. Or Deontay with Rudolph. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas, my friend. I'm not going to roll the dice here. Let's just play Deontay. Let's play it safe. Now, Yasha says, set the lineup. Jefferson, Adams, Waddle, Amari. We're going to go with Jefferson, Adams. Taylor, Hall out running back. For the flex, we'll be going with Waddle if Tyreek does not play. If Tyreek does play, we'll be going Achane, and we're going to go McBride at tight ends. Now, Austin says, Achane or Singletary. We're going to go Achane. And then Nico or Deontay, we're going to go Nico. Obviously, we need a backup plan if he does not play, though. Now, Junior says, Happy BR, playing against McCaffrey, Evan or Diggs. I will go with Stephon Diggs. Walker or Mixon. I'm going to go Mixon. Or Zeke. We're going to go Zeke. Yeah, go with Zeke there, my friend. And then if you're telling us we need to play another guy between Walker, Mixon, Evans, we'll go with Evans for the flex. Nate says non-BBR start 2, Gibbs, Hubbard, Walker. We're going to go Gibbs and Walker. Brock says sit 1, Montgomery, Brees, Aaron Jones. We're going to be benching Aaron Jones, and then we're going to play Kyler over Lawrence. Mark says non-BBR, Warren, Singletary, Gus, Ezekiel the flex. Go with Ezekiel Elliott, my friend. Yoda says full BBR flex, Reed, Singletary, or Odell. Waivers have Wicks, Boyd, Palmer. Also, Mahomes or Goff, and the Niners or Broncos DST. Happy holidays. Happy holidays. Going to go with the Broncos. Going to go with Mahomes. Going to go with Palmer. And going to... Oh, no, we're not going to go Palmer if we don't have to go. Instead, we will go with a Singletary there for the flex. I'm sorry for misreading that. Now, Hector says, PBR, I played Kamari, Cup, Puka. Starting Fields, White, Diggs, Laporta. On the bench, we have Stroud, Russ, Achant, Hall, Mixon, Collins. What are your thoughts? Thank you. Thank you. If we wanted to get someone in, it would be Breece Hall. I think you could. No, we can't start Breece Hall over Rashad White. So we're leaving this as is. Congrats on getting the pop from Puka, even if our other two guys on Thursday were a little bit of a letdown. Chase says, start 1, Saquon Chandler, Devonta Smith. I'm going to go Saquon. Chris says, full BBR double flex. Running backs get 3 points per reception. Lamar, Pacheco, Zeke, Tyreek, Diggs, Adams, Rice, Frymuth. On the bench, we have Singletary, Chandler, Gibson, Eckler. If running backs get 3 points per reception, you need to bench Devontae Adams. You need to play Austin Eckler. So move Rice to your wide receiver slot. Move Adams to your flex. Move Adams out of your starting lineup, and then put Austin Eckler into your starting lineup if you're going to get 3 points per reception for running backs. John says, which two are you not starting this week? Happy BR, Higgins, HN, Addison, Hall, Chandler, Montgomery, Waddle. We're going to go Addison and Chandler. Appreciate you, my friend. I know Addison crushed last week, but I'm expecting him to come back to under earth. Only had 6 targets last week. Reddy says, yo, Mason, need your help for the semis. PPR, 3 receivers and a flex. Mahomes, Dak, give me Mahomes. Pacheco, Hall, Walker, Saquon. Give me Hall and Saquon. Give me Pittman, Ayuk at wide receiver. And then for the flex, give me Rashee Rice. Now, Solis says, happy BR, need a running back and a flex. Cook, Mostert, Rice. Give me Cook and Rice. Jalen says, PBR, pick 1 flex and 1 running back. Reed, Swift, McBride. I'm going to be Chandler, Eckler. Okay. I'm going to go Swift at running back. I think the Eagles turn it around this week. It's been a tough stretch for him. And then I think we're going to go with Waddle at the flex spot. If you really wanted to go McBride over Waddle, you can. Kidlo says 2 teams in the semis, buying the flock out with my winnings. Hell yes, my friend. Congrats. Wishing you the best of luck. Tony says we have Lamb, Puka, Mixon, JT, Eckler, Mixon, Sutton, Laporta, and Njoku. Need 2, 2, and 1. Is it okay to start 2 tight ends and bench Eckler, Montgomery? No, you need to play Montgomery over David Njoku. So please start Lamb, Puka. I'm assuming you already started Puka. Then Mixon, JT at running back. Go with Laporta at tight end, and then Montgomery there at the flex. Now, Marcus says, first round of the playoff, 2nd seed, full BBR, 1, 1, and 3. We have Jacobs, Singletary. We're going to go with Jacobs. Jefferson, Metcalf, Flowers, Wilson, Reed, Myers, Palmer. Go Jefferson at receiver, Wilson, Metcalf for the 2 flex spots, and we're going to go Devin Singletary with that 3rd flex. Now, Cali Kid says, need 1, Deontay or Noah Brown, full BBR format. We'll go Noah Brown with the outside chance that you have no Nico Collins. Now, Mike says JSN or Jalen Warren. I'm going to go JSN. Brandon says full BBR, Fields, Pollard, Kyron, Hill, Jefferson, Njoku, Taylor. On the bench, Laporta, Higgins, Achant, Hopkins. Any advice? We're going to play Laporta over David Njoku, and then I think we're going to leave the rest of the lineup as is. And honestly, looks like you're going to crush with that team. The solution says Lawrence if he plays or Goff. Play Goff. Sierra says Hall, Ridley, or Saquon. We're going to go Hall, especially if you're in a hole, and Hall has a great matchup. Now, Super Saiyan says, have BBR single flex, AJ Brown, Jefferson, DJ Moore, White, Cook, Gibbs, Jacobs, McBride. DJ over Gibbs, Jacobs at the flex. DJ is a great matchup. I understand if you wanted to do that. I'm just going to play it safe. I'm going to play Jahmyr Gibbs with how good this Lions offense has been. Ryan says, have BBR, Kyler, Baker, or Flacco. Go Kyler with the rushing upside. Also, big a running back in 2 flex spots between Jacobs, Singletary, Chandler, Godwin, London, JSN, Warren. We're going to go with the first 3 running backs, play Jacobs, Singletary, Chandler. Thank you, Mason, for all your flock up, my friend. Now, Giancarlo says, should we play Noah Brown or Palmer at the flex? Noah Brown if you have no Nico Collins, if Nico Collins does play Palmer. Trenton says Rice or Pittman, concerned for a matchup / a snap count. Yeah, if you're concerned that Pittman's going to be a snap count, just play Rice. But I honestly think you could go 1-1. Okay. Now, Ryan says, last one, do we ride with the KC or Denver defense? Honestly, I've been going back and forth on this all week. I think both are great options. I probably go KC, but I think you do whatever you want. Anthony says Adams or Higgins. I'm going to go Adams. Sal says full BBR, Nico or Deontay. I'm going to go Nico if he plays. Chris says Fry, but keep in mind you may need a backup. Chris says Frymuth or Kraft. Oh my gosh. Kraft may actually be the answer here. If you wanted to go Kraft, I'm not going to fault you. Frymuth's been so damn bad. Alan says pick a flex. Tajee, Brandon Cooks, Gabe Davis, or Tyler Boyd. We'll go with Tyler Boyd if it's a full PBR format. Frozen Grapes says Garrett Wilson or Chandler the flex. Happy bar. Give me Garrett Wilson. Should be the best matchup Garrett Wilson has had all season. Bing says choose 3 running backs. White, Mostert, Achane, Eckler. We're going to go with the first 3 guys. Monopolize the backfield points in Miami. Lethal Jake says, I'm sorry, my friend. I know McPherson's a fun kicker. I have no idea what to do at kicker. I've played with kickers in fantasy in literally maybe since like 2017. So I apologize. I'm not going to be able to help at all with kickers. I can ask everybody else in the chat. Everybody, would y'all rather have Gay or McPherson? Please spam the chat. Are you going to go Gay or McPherson? I promise y'all, you know way more than I do when it comes to kickers here. And Mike says sit 1, Zeke, Higgins, or Ridley. We're going to bench Calvin Ridley there with the uncertainty surrounding Trevor Lawrence. We got McPherson, 2 votes. And now Alan says, happy BR flex, Ridley, Chandler, or Godwin. I'm going to go Chandler under the assumption that we have no Alexander Mattison. Now, if Alexander Mattison does play, then we're going to go Calvin Ridley if Trevor Lawrence plays. But if you have Alexander Mattison playing and no Trevor Lawrence, then you go Godwin. Now, Alan says half point PPR, Boyd, Tajee, Brandon Cooks, or Gabe Davis. I think we just, actually, no, we answered it for a full PPR format. I apologize. I think we still probably go with Tyler Boyd having no Jamar Chase here. I mean, I don't know. I'm not super excited about it, but I'm not excited about any of those guys. Dan's above average says, happy BR, Saquon, Connor, Singletary, Pittman, Wilson, Collins. We've got to sit to. We're going to sit Collins with no Stroud. And honestly, we're going to bench Devin Singletary there with no Stroud as well. I'm going to bench both Texans. Now, Youngberg says full BBR, Chandler Jacobs or Gibson Hawkinson. I'm sorry, or Gibson. I thought Gibson was going to be good last week. I was laughably wrong. Go with Jacobs. And we're going to go Hawkinson over Njoku. And if Jacobs doesn't play, go Chandler. Chris says, happy BR, Hill and Ayuk. We're going to Taylor and who? We flex Cup. Never flex anybody on Thursday, my friend. Always put him at wide receiver 1. And then move your wide receiver 1 to the flex. Chandler or Aaron Jones. I'm going to go Ty Chandler over Aaron Jones if Alexander Mattison does miss, my friend. Chase says, Smith, Chandler, Saquon. We got to pick one in a full PPR format. I'm going to go with Saquon Barkley. Saquon Barkley, even if he is concerning here. Mark says, pick 3, Waddle, Pollard, Hall, Mostert. We essentially have to bench one of these options. We're to be benching Jalen Waddle under the assumption that Tyreek Hill does play. If Tyreek Hill does not play, then instead, I think you pivot over and you can bench Breece Hall. But I think that should be it for this live stream. My computer just gave me a notification we're low on battery. But I am wishing you the best of luck today, ladies and gentlemen. I can't thank you enough for hanging out with me all season. It's incredible. We have live streamed for 240 days in a row. The only reason I can do it is because of y'all. It's absurd how much time y'all have spent with me. So thank you so much for everything. Y'all have made this a phenomenal season, regardless of what happens. But of course, you know, I'm rooting for you to go out there and crush it right after I crush it, that is. And yeah, this should be the last week that we are live streaming every single day. We're probably going to stop uploading videos here very soon as well, just because the majority of y'all don't care about fantasy football in the offseason, which is completely fine. I'll be uploading videos every day on the Dynasty channel in the offseason, however. So if you're interested in Dynasty fantasy football, keeper leagues, or any fantasy football related things in the offseason, you can find us uploading on the Dynasty Football Flock every single day. Just search it on YouTube and it'll be the first thing that pops up, Dynasty Football Flock. But thank you again, ladies and gentlemen. I really do appreciate you. Really hope that you have a great Saturday, great Sunday, and really hope you're able to move on to the championship next week.